You can't influence word of mouth marketing. That is absolutely not true, and I'm going to talk you through why that is. Hello and welcome to Engage and Thrive, also known as EAT, your coffee catch-up with me, your host, Taelon, where we will go through common problems and hurdles that come up in business, marketing and advertising and try and demystify them. I know firsthand how complicated and confusing it can seem with all the different acronyms and all the things to do in business. So let me try and help you be better in business. First things first, let's start with grabbing a coffee. So I want to start off by saying that obviously organic referrals happen naturally, and that's just when people are really happy with your product or service and refer you because they like what you do. However, for this purpose, we're obviously going to be going through how you can actually influence word of mouth marketing. This is more with intentional actions, so things that you can help fuel the conversations in a positive way. And the other thing just to say, obviously with such an increase of AI, I think word of mouth marketing is going to become more and more important because people are going to be leaning into other people for those referrals. If you think about it, people asking other people's opinion, have you used this product or service before? Have you been to this shop? Have you been to this restaurant? And trusting that human response rather than what they see online as AI generated content or potentially asking ChatGPT. The other thing to say is things like Google's algorithm is actually evolving more and more to bring up more of your referrals or more of your word of mouth content to actually serve it up because people want to know from humans. As always, we're going to go through vocab. So the first one is WOM, which stands for word of mouth, which literally means someone has referred your product or service. The next one is social proof. So this is evidence that other people have referred your product or service. You may see this when people use testimonials on their website or sharing customer testimonials on social media or like Google reviews or feedback or anything like that. That is called social proof. So that's social evidence that someone said something nice about your product or service. The next one is obviously referral, which literally means customers referring your business. Or it may not even be an existing customer. It may be that they've heard from someone else. It's still a referral. And the final one is UGC. And I always get this round the wrong way and end up saying UCG, but UGC stands for user generated content. So this is content on social channels or wherever it is that people have actually generated themselves about your product or service without you necessarily prompting them because they just want to share their experience. So today we're going to go through 3 key takeaways, and the takeaways are really around how you can influence word of mouth marketing. Number 1, build trust. This is probably the most obvious thing. People will refer your product or service if they trust your product or service. And this doesn't only come from, okay, they bought it and they like using it. It actually also comes into the whole part of the customer journey. So how was their experience buying your product or service or going to your restaurant or going to your shop? And then what happened after? So what was their experience like as an after sales? Did you have any follow-up? Did you ask for their feedback? Do you have a newsletter? Did you offer promotions? Did you continue to build that relationship? And I think sometimes this is the downfall with businesses is they think about all the coming in and they focus so much on we just need to get the customers in to buy it and then the rest will kind of handle itself. But actually, I'm sure you could draw on more examples where you've had bad customer service after you've bought a product or service more than the good ones, because it'll leave a bad taste in someone's mouth. So you need to think about all those touch points. If someone has a query about how to use your product or service, or they're not satisfied, respond to them, understand where they're coming from, meet them where they're at. Even if you need to do a refund, if you gave them a good experience and you were really understanding and the product or service wasn't just right for them, the likelihood is they probably would refer you because they had a good customer experience. And even if it wasn't a right match for them, again, they're more likely to understand who the right match is for your business. The other thing with building trust is obviously Customers buy products and services typically that have the same values and emotional connection that they want and they have. So when you're thinking about your social content or your website content or anything, you need to think about being the most authentic to your brand as possible, because it's more likely that you then are attracting the customers most authentically similar to you, and therefore they will enjoy their experience and they'd be likely to refer you. Number 2, shareable moments. So you can make it a lot easier to get user-generated content. Simple things. For example, on social media, you may have a branded hashtag or a campaign hashtag. If you are sending them a product delivered in the post, what's actually the packaging when they get it, and do you have that hashtag? So then when they received it, if they want to do like a little unboxing or they want to share a photo of what they got, they can use that hashtag, and then it makes it so much easier for you to share. The other things to think about is if you had a restaurant or a shop or anything, do you have a grammable space that people could go and take a photo? Again, making that memorable, shareable moment with your brand on or with your hashtag or anything. The most common example that you may see is where places have mirrors with writing on it, and a group of people will get together and take a photo in the mirror and you'll see the branding on it. This is obviously sharing to their network, which is essentially the easiest way to do a word of mouth, right? Because they're sharing it, they're sharing their experience, they're sharing the joy, the moment, the shareable moment in their network. People then ask where they are, how it was. That's the instant feedback that you want. The other thing to think about with shareable moments is also in that moment, can you capture people's feedback? So like Google reviews, their testimonials, get a soundbite from them. What can you do there and then to actually get more content that you can share? Again, if you don't have an in-person experience and it's an online product or service, if you've received a notification to say they've received their delivery or they started using your service, how can you strike when the iron's hot there and then to actually ask their feedback, ask for a Google review, ask for their thoughts as well about what they would like to do, how they would like to evolve it, and also would they refer it to their friends? Which this kind of nicely leads into number 3, referral rewards. So this is where you may see a lot of businesses do referral programs. Now, not all referral programs are cash incentives. What you need to think about is the meaningful incentive that you want to drive that is most suitable for your customers, but also for you as a business. So what aligns with your values? What are you trying to do as an objective? Are you trying to increase your brand awareness? Are you trying to increase users? Are you trying to get more app downloads? And then think about a referral scheme around that. So to give you an example, Dropbox actually built most of its customers from a referral. So for everyone you referred, you got an increase in storage space, and so did they. To give you another example, Under Armour. Recently I was in an Under Armour store in Singapore, and they were actually trying to increase their app downloads. So when you went to purchase your products, there and then at the till, they offered you a percentage discount to download their app. They obviously had to see confirmation that you had downloaded the app and signed up, but then yeah, you got a discount. Another example is Grammarly. So I think Grammarly still run it, that if you refer people, you get a few weeks free of their premium Grammarly. So again, these are all just different examples, and none of those are actually cash back to you. But there may be ones that you'll see typically refer 3 people, get £50 cash back. A lot of banks do it for new sign-ups. A lot of products, if they're really trying to push it, they know that people will want the cash. And I think, especially in the situation we're all in now in the world, everyone wants a bit of cash. But again, it absolutely needs to align with your business objective, and what your customers want. The other thing to say with referral schemes is you need to make sure that you're promoting your referral scheme. So it's all very and well having one and saying you'll give cash back or saying you'll give your free weeks of your service, but actually if you're not talking about it and if you're not promoting it, how are people going to know about it? So make sure you're sharing it on social, make sure you're telling all your existing customer base. How can you keep reminding them? Are there certain days of the year that's maybe your anniversary that you want to do a big push? Is there I think it's like Friendship Day, there's a Friendship Day in one of the months, and you see a lot of those referral schemes sent out as well. Just think about that as well as part of your promotion. Again, these are tactics to help influence word of mouth. Won't guarantee you to get the word of mouth referrals, but they can help drive that conversation. So as a wrap up, if you stay consistent and you plan it out of how you can actually help those conversations. It's not all luck. And like I said in the beginning, obviously organic referrals are the best ones that you could ask for, because that means what you're doing is fantastic and people just want to shout about your product or service. But you can use these tactics to help influence the conversations and drive more word of mouth referrals. And at the end of the day, word of mouth is your cheapest channel to entry in terms of getting new customers. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Engage and Thrive with your host Taelon, and see you next week.